didn't just, the value chain introduced a bottling plant. So if you just leave it like that, it means the consumers will pay $80 more without doing nothing. So MPA had to be innovative to bring in the tender to ensure that...
You keep referring to the tender.
But you see, but
the tender hasn't led to me.
Are you
seeing the reduction in the cost I pay for my LPG?
Gabi, are you ignoring the fact that the tender dropped the price?
When you decided to do the tender, we went out there to congratulate you for that.
So that has dropped the price.
You don't take one foot forward and then take two foot backwards.
So Evans, if you remember last year, when
let me finish your country.
Let me talk. You are my little brother. Let me talk to you. You see, Evans, we appreciate certain things that MPA has done. And like I said, when they introduced this tender, we all went out there thinking that, look, this is a very good move that will lower prices. But like you rightly said, it has never affected the pump price of LPG, or rather, the pump price keep moving up. Now you have introduced a tender. Allow consumers to enjoy that windfall from your tender. You don't replace it with a bottling plant margin that has really rather shot up the prices to the roof. Look, this is a commodity. Abbas knows. He's in charge of pricing. Countries like Cote d'Ivoire are subsidizing LPG. This is a serious country. When I talked to a colleague of mine there, he's even telling me that they have even written to the government to increase the subsidies on LPG. But we keep piling taxes on LPG in Ghana.
Your fundamental demand is that they withdraw the $80.
We want the LPG. We know his bosses are very listening people. We want them to withdraw this $80 and find another means of making sure that this cylinder recirculation works. Look, the cylinder recirculation has not worked for the past 7 years because of some of these thinkings. For the past 7 years, they have tried it. We, as practical people on the ground, have given a lot of advice to MPA as to how we can move this thing forward. Look, take it or leave it. Cylinder recirculation has some advantages. But if we don't do things right and make sure it takes off, we wouldn't...
Would you withdraw it, though?
So, Gabi...
Because you see, they are not the only organization complaining. Even the OMCs have also written.
Evans. They are the same association. LPG Market Association are part of the association.
We are not the same.
Companies. So
we are different. Withdraw that.
Association.
Withdraw that. We are not the same.
Association of Oil Marketing Companies.
So you will withdraw it?
So let me explain. So you see, we explained from last year when we spoke. We have done a lot of engagements on CRM. And I remember one of the engagements we had in MPA with the media. You asked, with the introduction of these new players in the value chain, it means margins have to be created for them. How are you going to ensure that this introduction of the margin does not burden the consumer? And we mentioned that we are going to find ways to ensure that this does not happen. In the sense that, what do we do to bring down the cost of LPG so that when the bottling plant margin comes, so the tender that I spoke about is the solution to ensure that when the bottling plant margin comes, so that it's not a standalone thing.
But you haven't addressed
it was a solution.
The failure of that intervention to reflect in reduced prices of the pumps.
This is just that. I mentioned that even if you did not have this $80 in the price, even if you did not do the tender, prices will go up when the world market price go up.
And except that you have $80 on top of the price going up.
So my point is, see, if you look at the price of LPG from February, you can see LPG price have been going up until this window when they dropped.
Yeah. So with the 80, it will go up further.
I mentioned that we did a tender.
I know, you've said that many times.
So you see, maybe we are not getting it.
Yeah, so
the tender was a solution to ensure that when the to say that we did a tender and then to make it look like...
But you did a tender. You were expecting the price of the pumps to go down.
So you see, it's more like he said, it's like we've done the tender and then brought in the $80. But that's basically what we explained that was going to be done.
We said we are going to do the tender to ensure that when the 80 comes, for you to put the $80.
That's what we explained. Like I said, the question was...
that was intentional.
The question was, if you bring in $80, it immediately increases the price of LPG. So what are you going to do? And we answered that.
Yeah, but you just said you brought the $80 and immediately increased the thing.
You guys were out there saying you are going to reduce the price of LPG by the
solution to ensure that bringing the $80 does not lead to the price increment was to... If you have dropped the price by $70...
So would you say that intervention has achieved its purpose, considering that the $80 have still...
The other part which we have to talk about is, now, this $80 has come. It's a fixed cost in the price build-up of LPG. Now, he knows very well that their margins, they change them every now and then. The market, the BDCs also have a control of their margins. So now, doing this, it's up to MPA now to ensure that this tender we've done, which has brought down the price, Are the BDCs passing it on to them? Is it reflecting the price? And we have to do that job.
That's the question I'm asking you. What's going to happen to ensure that it's passed on?
It just started. So we have to now analyze the price and make sure that with the introduction of the tender and the $80 that has been added, have the BDCs passed on this reduction?
What are you going to do to ensure that it's passed on?
We will ensure that you didn't increase your margin just because. Now, the good thing now we've done is that previously LPGMs would submit what they call indicative prices to us. The indicative price was not the actual price. BDCs will also submit indicative prices, not actual prices. Now, the new pricing guidelines mandates them to submit actual prices. So if you have been submitting actual price, we know what your margins are. In fact, when we analyze their price, we have an idea of where their margins are. We have an idea of where the BDC margins are. So if you have done a tender and it's supposed to lead to a drop in the price, and we know that you are adding $80, and it's supposed, let's say if your premium is supposed to drop from 200 to 150, and you didn't pass it on through our price analysis, we will know that you didn't pass it on.
You've seen that they're not. What is the MPA going to do about it?
No, so MPA is going to ensure that.
How?
You see, we analyze prices. Remember, the market is not deregulated. It's regulated, but not completely.
Yeah, but you haven't answered the question. So how are you going to ensure that it's passed on?
We regulate them. There have been times, Gabi, you remember, there have been times when we thought, even the deregulated margin, we realized that the BDC premiums were too high for LPG.
And what do you do?
We call the BDCs. Remember, the regulator can question you, interrogate your price, and if you think your price is not in accordance with the pricing formula, we question you. So that's what we are doing. We interrogate your price and
very quickly,
take action.
Will this $80, would it be imposed in perpetuity?
So the $80, today have we withdrawn marketers' margin because it is perpetuity. Once the player is in the industry, it has to be there. Okay, so marketers' margin has not been withdrawn.
Okay. And I need to ask, let's expand the conversation quickly because I want to bring Nana Mwesi into it. Because this is not the only one going up in terms of fuels.
Yes, so that's the point.
Petrol is going up. We've seen it today. It's gone up again. Petrol is more expensive now than diesel. What's the MPA's own projections? We're going to see further increases in the price of petrol.
I'm even happy you brought in petrol. Yeah. No new tax has been imposed on petrol.
Yeah,
but it's going up. So that's a context.
No, but that is why this conversation about LPG is important.
Exactly.
Because even without your burden of $80, we're going to cry.
Right. But we introduced something to you. But you are ignoring the fact that MPA did a tender to drop the price.
Okay. You keep going.
Exactly. Because it's important. It's an important point. If you ignore that, then you are making it look as if.
But address quickly for me what your projection is on petrol and diesel. Very quickly.
I think I'm happy you mentioned when you were making showing the slides about the world market price and the exchange rate. In a deregulated market, MPA does not regulate the prices. We don't tell the marketers that set your price as so and so. It's influenced by these key factors: the world market price, the exchange rate, and then their margins that they set. Taxes are also part of the price. They know very well that taxes on petrol have not been increased, but petrol prices are going up because of the world market price. Now, what are we doing? You remember that the world we have a lot of geopolitical issues happening now. Once these things are happening, they will affect our price here in Ghana. MPA, for example, does not control the taxes. So I heard him talk about the taxes. The taxes, once they are passed by Parliament, the price builder formula has to reflect them. So as MPA, our projection from what we are seeing now shows that the price on the world market are going up. Exchange rate is also not doing well. So if you look at the projections, it means prices are going to go up. Unfortunately for us in Ghana, if the exchange rate goes up, it even compounds the issues. And that's where we are at the moment. So from the look of things, and what MPA even does for consumers to know that price will go up. We don't hide this. Okay. We publish what we call the daily price indicators. That
From the look of things, you're going to say you expect prices
are still rising because just over the weekend we all know the attacks, the fight between Iran and Israel. And globally, is an issue that everyone is battling.
So, in other words, if you're a consumer tonight, you should expect that this trend will continue. This trend of increasing prices will continue for petrol, for diesel, for all the fuels.
Yeah, in fact, all the petroleum products come from crude oil. So look at
how high will it get before it drops? I know MPA, you do your projections. How high do you expect this to go?
Unfortunately, we can't tell because no one can tell what the price of petrol tomorrow will be on the world market. I can't tell.
But you can make projections.
We actually don't project.
Okay, but let me ask you: it's been suggested that it possibly may hit up to 17 CD petrol, for example, 17 CD a litre. Possible?
You see, if last year, if you asked me whether it will reach 14, when it wasn't 14. If the world market price goes up and if the exchange will depreciate, it will reach there. Okay. But as to when, nobody can tell what the price of crude oil is tomorrow. Okay. So that's why we publish the daily price indicator. So every day we update this. So at least you can have information on where it is going to. So once we give you this information, then you'll be able to tell whether price will go up or not. Okay,
quickly, I want to bring Nana Mwesi, who has been on Zoom with us. Nana, so you've had there, so MPA says expect the price increases to continue with it because of whatever is happening around the world. What's your own take of this? Can government do anything, or should it, to cushion us all? LPG is going up, petrol is going up, diesel is going up, everything will go up from the MPA's point of view?
Thanks for having me, Evans. Good evening to you, to your viewers. The MPA must be in a position to do projections. What is the use of the numerous data they collect on the industry? Every day, every minute, they have, or they call all the BDCs, OMC, or the storage points to give them the stock levels, to give them laycans, to give them all the importation, arrangements. They also observe from the Standard & Poor's platform world market prices. If you have all this data and you cannot do projection, then why do you take data? You should be in a position to tell. Evans, we are in winter, just gone past winter, going into summer. From IESDEX, we know that winter grade of fuel are different from summer grade of fuel. As we go into summer, some refineries may shut down to prepare themselves to produce summer fuels. And so stock levels on the world market will drop. When they drop, what happens is that international price will go up. And so if you're an MPA and you can...
Oh, we may have lost him there. But yes.
Cannot project an active MPA.
Oh, he's back, yes.
What's going to happen?
Yes, please proceed, Nana. We lost you briefly, but you're back, yes.
Good. So what we see from our index is that within the next 6 weeks, price of international price will go up. And so we'll be hit domestically by the same, rise or similar of prices. We also know that the CD is not performing well against the dollar, the importing currency. That forex exposure will also hit us domestically. We know that's one as well. We also know very well that governments may not be willing to reduce taxes and levies on fuel, and so we are not expecting any reduction in the coming 6 weeks. And so we can project that prices of gasoline, LPG, and gas oil, and the other derivatives may not drop in the next 6 weeks. That we can tell. The other thing we see is that it might potentially rather increase. We can tell.
How high do you think it will get? I mean, MP actually agrees with you that he expects increases too. But how high do you think it will get before it maybe begin to drop?
We got to 20 cedis per liter for diesel and petrol. Don't be surprised to see anything around 18 cedis per liter for diesel and petrol in the next 6 weeks.
Wow.
You see, he was talking about the tender reducing the cost of LPG. Yes, it reduced it by $70, but they've added $80. So effectively, they've added $10
more.
$10 more. So the impression they gave us was that, yes, we are doing this tender because we want prices of LPG to go down.
They didn't only take it back, they added more.
They added more. So what are we doing? We keep... Evans, I think it's important that they withdraw this levy.
But what are you going to do now, though? If he's told you it's not going to happen, withdrawal won't happen.
I'm sure. I don't know if Abbas has that final say to say that it won't happen.
Okay.
But I think...
Have you been called for a meeting yet on this?
Oh, not yet. Not yet. We might not be called for any meeting. But we are giving ourselves some timelines.
What can you really do, though?
Oh, well, there's a lot we can do. There's a lot we can do. I mean, there is no justification for this. I mean, Abbas has not convinced me that $80 has to be there. Okay. It has to go. If government really wants to do cylinder recirculation, it should find other ways to do this than to impose this high. That tax is the highest tax ever to impose on any petroleum product in Ghana.
Okay.
So we can't accept it.
We'll wrap up now, but once you're charging us for this, you better get the cylinder recirculation model up and running, and I want to see the cylinders next to my house.
So I think it's a good thing, I think Gabby mentioned. Cylinder recirculation model has a lot of advantages. But let me make a correction. It is not a tax. it's a margin for the bottling plants.
It's a tax.
Just like the...
So far as I will pay for it.
Okay, then maybe
it's a
Gabi
tax.
will accept that his margin is also a tax. Because it's part of the price.
What is dangerous about this tax?
You see, so, but today, Gabi's margin...
That means that when the city weakens, this is going to go up.
Gabi's margin is more than 1 CD per liter.
Yeah, but why is it not in cities? Why is it not?
Actually, it's part of the supplies premium. The product is... But Gabi's margin is more than what he's talking, the $80 is talking about.
How much is it?
The facts are there to show.
What is the fact? Tell me.
More than 1 CD.
Our margin is 50 pesos.
It is not correct.
Okay.
It's correct.
By the way, Abbas, thank you.
We have data, it's not correct.
Thank you.
I have data.
Gabriel, thank you very much. I'm grateful that you joined us. On Thursday, you want to join us for that big national conversation on guaranteeing reliable power supply. It's going to be right here. We bring in all the stakeholders on this table to discuss the erratic power supply and find real solutions to it. Stay with us and join us then.
About surfing until I was working with somebody who was having a surf shop in Buzua here. So then he decided to teach the other kids in the community. So then I decided like, okay, then I should learn.
I shall assume you should start what to board. Yeah, cats back, floating now day. And I'm not now, or yeah, controller, Edmo board. I'm a tomb in your max, a warrior competition and baby dama. And I'm there when you're J. Sunday, except for now, the feeling of throwing the board and I control now. It's very happy.
So I am a vampana, no more there, listening as the moon was safe. I am a friend and put a musia. But I'm outside. Nam for what to make a day with Ghana, I'm a couple baby day, I'm myself for.
When something happens, you want to know all about it immediately. Here at JoyNews, we don't just bring you the breaking stories. We go beyond them to bring you the intricate issues in those developing stories. We are relentless in our probe, detailed in our search, and our commitment to be your most credible news source is one that you can trust, because news is all about you. JoyNews, credible, independent, and fearless.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to JoyNews today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemlewe on DTT because we're free to on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, President Akufo-Addo expected to commission the controversial Kumasi 1 thermal power plant in the Ashanti region to help address voltage and power quality issues in the Ashanti and northern regions. We have details as the group calling itself Youth for Asante is also set for a protest to demand a load shedding timetable. More persistent gadget repairs and thousands of cedis lost in discarded fish and meat products. That's the story of cold store operators at the Malata market on today's episode of Doomsaw Diaries. As the minority in Parliament takes on governing MPP for saying it is frustrating the operationalization of the Commander Sugar Factory. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Next Spaces at JoyNews on TV. My personal handle is @Nana Aisha. Please do stay for details. Asante Otumfuo said to the second has hit hard at government for its involvement in the establishment of companies and industries while losing focus on policies. According to him, the government should not be holding on to the Electricity Company of Ghana without enough money to fund it while it can be handed over to the private sector. Asante bemoaned the government's inability to generate revenue while holding on to companies it cannot fund. He spoke ahead of the official commissioning of the Kumasi thermal power plant. We'll be going live to Kumasi to get more on this one. My colleague Nana Boachi-Yadom joins us with more on this story. Nana Boachi-Yadom, first, has the commissioning happened? All right, we'll take a break on JoyNews today. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to JoyNews today. And as we await the president to commission the plant in the Ashanti region, here in Accra, persistent gadget repairs and thousands of cedis lost in discarded fish and meat products. That is the story of cold store operators as erratic power supply continues to bite hard on businesses. Today on our Doomsaw Diaries, James Aveji takes us to the Malata market in Accra, where cold store operators count their losses, calling on government to produce a timetable on the outages.
I'm here in the heart of Malata Market in Accra to explore the Doomsaw diary of operators of frozen food shops, your popular cold stores. The buzzing business of buying and selling is the demand for frozen foods, fish, meat, and others. At least today, the lights are on in the market, but operators of these cold stores, just like you and I, have been battling a peculiar problem in the past few months: Doomsaw.
The leaders need to be honest with us on this power issue. They can turn off the lights early in the morning and bring it back very late in the evening. Why are they not being forthcoming with us? If it's not Doomsaw, then what is it?
Chocho, one of the owners of the cold stores here, tells me on several occasions he has had to dispose of some products which went bad because of the unstable power supply.
The cost of the fish has also gone up. The ones we used to buy for 100 cedis now sells for between 400 to 600 cedis. The moment the fish becomes tender, no one wants to buy them. We are usually left with no option than to dispose of the cold foods that have gone bad. We are pleading with government to resolve the power crisis.
Another trader, Aja, says 3 weeks ago, when the Doomsaw became intense, tens of cartons of fish and meat products in his cold room went bad, running into loss of thousands of cedis.
The last time I
How many was the amount?
Yes. Wow. You know, our chicken carton is 320. 20 cedis per one carton. The last time we threw about 10 boxes away. Yeah.
And the fishes?
The fish, the salmon to a carton is 1,030. 30 cedis. We threw about 4 or 5 away because of all it's melt and it's spoiled. Yeah.
Did you have to, after that, what happens? You have to bear the cost, you move on, you buy a new one, and then you start?
That one, the constant. So far as that one is spoiled, we have to put different money into the business again. So we can't blame the government to come and give us any money now. So it's this thing.
Another cost the coastal managers bear is the purchase of spare parts to repair their gadget, which now breaks down consistently due to the flickering power.
The moment the light starts going off and on, it damages our machines. And these machines are expensive to repair. We are always incurring losses.
At this point, I grew interest in why Chocho and Aja are unable to provide alternative power to protect their investment.
Do you have generator you use for your...
I do not have a generator as a backup because I sell at the market. It is an open space. The noise from the generator will disturb traders and customers.
Not that we can't buy a generator, but here we are now. We don't have a space here to mount that generator at us now.
But in the middle of all this, Aja says officials of the ECG have visited their shops to already inform them about a possible bill increment.
How much approximately do you pay in a month?
This is prepaid.
This is prepaid?
Yeah, and you can buy 1,500, 2,000.
1,500, 2,000 in a month?
Yeah.
For your prepaid?
Yeah.
But we've seen some communications that the ECG is asking for more increment on the bill.
Yeah, it's true. They even came here.
They came here?
Yeah. Oh, okay. But our code room, if they break, we off it. In the even on it, yeah.
If they increase the bill, but there is no Doomsaw or light out, would you be willing to pay?
Oh yeah. If there's no Doomsaw or light out, the business is going on. We can pay whatever we get.
The two are united in the demand for a schedule to cut the loss.
So Doomsaw, Doomsaw na aba. As I say, first, Mama Mresun, say Doomsaw no. Now, where the and yes, sir, Uko Kaya sing yes, sir, China Kwaya saying yes, sir, who be so be or say, so they be a Doomsaw ne war. Ne higher ne says a yenamo, says a yenema. It's a moon country and say, see a panicho, so no said Doomsaw, a war. Aya all my one all now so no mining in auntie, near who said Doomsaw ne war. It's a woman as soon to say, see a panic. We are pleading with government to provide a Doomsaw timetable, as was done during John Mahama's regime. That's the least we can ask for. The war kakran beton adia china kanyan be bansa na be kwakofa na yakofa enu be boaye chain sisi amoye no.
If there is a timetable about Doomsaw, we all know that by this day, the lights will go off. You have to arrange yourself. You won't go and take plenty goods down before lights will go out. So you know what you take before the Doomsaw will come.
They hope stakeholders, including the ECG, Gridco, and government, gives a listening ear to them and find solutions to rescue their businesses. From Malata Market here in Accra, James Kwesi Aveji on today's episode of Doomsaw Diaries for JoyNews.
Minority in Parliament says government must not blame it for the non-operationalization of the Commander Sugar Factory. The factory has been redundant, with many Ghanaians asking government to revive it. Works and Housing Minister Kojo Nkrumah, in an address to the traditional authorities at Commander, blamed the minority for the delay in the start of work.
Obehianye there esichire a worry a wonye nwie was if adochire ba be ma woye the message a worry a wonye nwie semi pose wodre ba oda aban yi taxes a oda do no fi ho we tum ba ye form wodza aba sisi ete ya taxes oda ye tum ye de mankofo a worry be ye dwuma ba Ghana no ye nuanom no bi so won tax nti nananom what can woye ye no say on da so wofa wona tum the them tax waivers order ye de ma na raw materials a ye de be ye factory ho adwuma ma commander man ho menya ho faso Parliament yehwena yedzemano yenkade ni na yizo yaza menyimi order ka Parliament tum ye no fa homa no tum bi man na he nuanom a wose 1000 na yitum ye ono na se ahona munua penyin keti amonye ho ye nkrata da won fa dem esichira wonye wi no fa mra mbogu factory no waza aba na afi nzama so etum ehwa no kaka tena mede wase yenye hen penyimfo no yedin kan ye de henenyu ahwe ma ken so yate.
That's Kojo Nkrumah, Works and Housing Minister. We can now hear from Ranking Member on Parliament's Committee of Trade, Yusuf Suleimana, who says the minority cannot be blamed for this.
The minority side should be blamed for not passing tax exemptions that will enable them to bring raw material for the company to be able to process. That is not true. It is not true because there is no any tax exemption requests in Parliament in the name of the Commander Sugar Factory. So where is he getting this from? Indeed, we have some tax exemptions requests before Parliament Finance Committee, but there is nothing for Commander Sugar Factory. So why is he telling lies to the people? In any case, we, the minority side, don't decide what should be brought to the preliminary for discussion. And so it is the finance chairman who will have to come and lay this report for us to be able to discuss that. The question I want to ask is, has there been any report of tax exemptions on the floor of Parliament that the minority have rejected? And so Mr. Kojo Nkrumah should find a different excuse for the chiefs and people of the Commander area.
Farmers and some residents whose properties have been affected by the construction of a bypass from Esiakwa in the eastern region to Konongo in the Ashanti region are demanding compensation. The farmers who hail from Esiakwa, Osino, Asaman, Tamfo, among other towns and villages, say they have had their farms and buildings destroyed to pave way for the road project aimed at easing vehicular traffic and congestion on the Accra-Kumasi Highway. Addressing a press conference at Osino in the eastern region, the agitated occupants say they want government to expedite action on the payments since they are under intense pressure to pay back loans they took for their projects. I've been joined by Kofi Sian, he's our eastern region correspondent. Kofi, what exactly do these farmers want?
That since government decided to construct the bypass from Esiakwa to Konongo, they have been affected, especially when it comes to their properties. Some complain of their houses being demolished Others also have their shops. Others also have their farmlands and products also destroyed, just to pave way for the construction of the road. But they went into agreement with government to pay them compensation, as it is done usually everywhere. But since they went into agreement, government hasn't heeded to, the agreed proposal. So they held a press conference and drummed home their grievances. And in doing so, they said, even though they've heard government has paid some compensations to some people, but for the people in that enclave, the towns you mentioned, they haven't received yet. So they are urging government to expedite the payment of the compensation. If the government fails to do that, according to them, they are going to stage a protest to, let the whole world know the exact situation they are in now. They said that they've gone for loans and they are under intense pressure to pay off these loans so that they will be free from, their creditors. So they are asking government, in all, to expedite action in the payment of the compensation to the farmers and the residents affected by the construction of the bypass.
What do they intend to do if the government doesn't meet their demand?
Okay, so as I said earlier, they said that they are going to stage a protest, a demonstration, and they gave 16th April as the deadline for the protest. So, but they said they've had discussions with the regional minister, Seth Echampon, and he has assured them that they are in the process of getting the compensation for them. But the regional minister, I spoke to him some time ago, and he also says that, government, when government is in the process of doing something, it will take some measures to be fulfilled before these compensations can be paid. So he assured them that by the end of this year, before the end of this year, government is going to honor the promise of paying the compensations to the farmers and residents.
Official is our Eastern Region correspondent, and he's been telling us more about the demands of farmers who want the government to pay their compensation. Let's go back to the Ashanti region, because Asante Inotumfo II has hit hard at government for its involvement in the establishment of companies and industries while losing focus on policies. According to him, the government should not be holding on to the Electricity Company of Ghana without enough money to fund it while it can be handed over to the private sector. He spoke ahead of the commissioning of the plant in Kumasi. Nana Boachi Yadom, who's monitoring this for us, has joined us live from the place. Nana Boachi Yadom, has this happened yet?
Well, Aisha, the event hasn't started yet. The event, which will be official commissioning of the Kumasi thermal power plant in the Ashanti region, will begin at exactly 2 p.m. That is when we are expecting President.
Well, this afternoon, the president is expected to commission the plant.
And also, we'll be having other dignitaries join the in the Ashanti region. I want to be specific.
Nana Boachi Yadom, what will happen after the commissioning of this plant?
Well, the commissioning of this plant, as we are being told, is to help people in the middle of the Ashanti region and also people in the northern part of the country. Well, with the establishment of the commissioning of the K1 CPP, they are making sure that after its official opening, we would have stable electricity and also contribute to the national grid. And so right after the official commissioning of the K1 CPP, we are to expect much more stable electricity and also much more attention given to the national grid.
You've been speaking with the chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee, Atachia. What has he been telling you?
Well, the chairman of the Committee on Mines and Energy, Samuel Atachia, has also been commending government for relocating the KTPC, the power plant from Kasari to Kumasi. He says that this is also to help people in the Ashanti region, especially and also those in the northern part of the country. We can take a listen to some more questions.
The chairman of the Energy and Mines Committee in Parliament. Well, what does this mean for us as a country?
Well, this is a game changer that we give space to the private sector to do what the government cannot do. They go and find their private capital and come and do such a project so that we will have cheap gas to power industrialization in the middle belt and in the north. This is where we should expand so strong. And when we so expand, energy is going to be good. And when we have good energy, the economy will thrive. And then we should be net exporters of energy. So this private sector initiative is critical. And we should give space to the private sector to affect the energy space.
Now let's look at the commissioning or the official commissioning of the Kumasi 1 thermal power plant, formerly Amari. What is this step for us as a country? Where are we getting to in terms of energy and power?
We should improve our thinking that, and that's what President Kufuor has done, that what a previous government has done, even if it's wrong, and you assume the reins of government, you don't throw away the assets of this nation. And that Amari was started by President Mahama. Whatever it is, we are not the owners of the plants. They are bringing the plants here to benefit the middle belt and the northern sector. And that is what we should do. And then we'll be able to save a lot of energy because of this plan and also help all the power challenges and the outages in the middle belt and the Ashanti. It's a good project. It should be promoted. It should function full throttle, and Ghana will have the benefit. I'm tempted to say that if it should function very well, eventually you will not just rake in foreign exchange through cocoa production, but we will rake in foreign exchange through energy delivery to our neighboring countries.
But the question people are asking is that
Meanwhile, a group calling itself Youth for Asanteman will later today embark on a demonstration against the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Energy Ministry. The protest is to demand a load shedding timetable in the wake of the erratic power supply. Nana Ojima is still with us. Nana, when is the protest expected to start and what are their major demands? Nana Boache Adam.
Well, the protest is expected to start at exactly 5 p.m. right after President Akufo-Addo commissions the Kumasi 1 KCTT. Well, the group calling itself Youth for Asanteman will be working through the first half week of Kumasi to demand the energy ministry alongside the Electricity Company of Ghana to release a load shedding timetable and in the wake of the erratic power supply. They are making that right after the president commissioned the Kumasi 1 terminal power plant, they are calling on the Energy Ministry and the ECG to make sure that the erratic power supply is being maintained or contained in a way that will affect their businesses.
Nana Boache Adam is a correspondent in the Ashanti region. We'll be bringing you more on the commissioning of that plant in our subsequent bulletins. The United States government, through the U.S. Agency for International Development, has launched a 5-year performance accountability activity in the Volta region. The activity supports local organizations, women and youth groups, and traditional and religious leaders to advocate for improved public service delivery. There's more in this report.
The 5-year performance accountability activity would be implemented by Democracy International in close collaboration with the Government of Ghana, partners, and local civil society organizations. The program would cover 70 districts in 10 regions across the country, with a focus on ensuring the citizenry acquire the capacity to seek improved public services. It would be implemented in areas of basic education, health, water and sanitation, agriculture and fisheries. Linda Ofori Kwafu is the Performance Accountability Activity Deputy Chief of the party.
The approach that Democracy International and our partners are using is what we call the social behavioral science approach, where we are building on people's behaviors, attitudes, culture, and all those. We are trying to use this kind of approach and not the one that we have used in the past of name shaming and all those. No. what kind of behaviors are public officials using in the delivery of the services that is not getting us the result that we are looking for, and what kind of behaviors are citizens adopting in demanding accountability that is not helping us to get the result that we are looking for. And then we use capacity building, and we are using institutions, very capable institutions like the Institute of Local Government Studies. We are going to work with the NDPC and all those institutions. We have actually identified them as key stakeholders that we need to be able to work with them, to be able to improve public service delivery at the local level of governance.
The Executive Director of Africa Disability Institute, Francis Asson, said the program would enhance efforts to ensure transparent, accountable and inclusive governance.
Running parallel to this is the general lack of capacity of citizens for them to engage local government authorities and service providers for effective service delivery. It is against this backdrop that we welcome the Performance Accountability Activity, PAA for short, to leverage on support being provided by USAID and other donors to reinforce ongoing efforts to promote transparent, accountable, and inclusive governance in the implementing regions and districts, for that matter, Volta and Koti regions.
During the activity launch, GLOA and AID facilitated a regional sensitization workshop to introduce the project to key stakeholders. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News. Oh.
Movement for Change and National Interest Movement will later today officially join forces in a bid to oust the governing MPP and end the NPP-NDC duopoly. Alan Kweje and Dr. Abu Sakara Foster believe their union is what Ghana needs to progress. Deputy Communications Director for the Movement for Change has been throwing more light on what this means for Ghana's elections.
Alan Martin is coming to create what we call the jobs and cash economy. Everything is about jobs. Jobs so that you can get cash. Many people are unemployed, so they don't have money. If you check the current state of our economy, a lot of people are in extreme poverty and they're suffering. So the first priority of Alan is to create jobs. And that's why he is advocating for all these centers of excellence. But that aside, his track record in government under President Kufuor and under President Kufuor is the reason why Ghanaians have confidence in him. That he is a proven performer. When given any appointment at any point in time, given control of any national asset, he's able to turn it into a profitable venture. And he's able to create space for private sector to thrive. And that's the most important thing. For all these automobile companies that are in Ghana, the government did not spend a dime. Alan says that the most important tool of a government is policy. When he put in place the right policies, they have come. They've set up companies and they're employing Ghanaians. So that is the trump card for him. Policy, policy, policy. But he's got the credibility to do what he's saying he will do. And that's the difference between Alan Martin and all the other candidates.
We're still live on Joy News today, and if you just joined us, we're live also on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X Spaces at Joy News on TV. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest from the world of business.
Across Africa, a new era has begun. Shifting our focus to a new horizon, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow. Today, we are making a brighter tomorrow, built by our dreams and our energy. Across our continent, across the world, we are creating a better way to a better future. A Pan-African future. Together. EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
When I was young, I asked my mother the secret of hair vitality and health. She said, the right food, the right exercise, the right amount of sleep, and the right blood tonic. Nescafe Blood Tonic is effective for the treatment of anemia, lack of appetite, and stressful conditions in both adults and children.
Nescafe Blood Tonic, the right family blood tonic. Another quality product from Ernest Chemists. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the business segment on JoyNews. Today with me, Pius Kojo Baka. In a bid to enhance connectivity for its customers, MTN Ghana, in collaboration with Techno Mobile, has introduced an exciting offer for purchasers of the newly launched Common 30 series smartphones. According to data device and home manager at MTN, Gloria Frimpong, buyers will now receive a monthly data package of 2.5 gigabytes from MTN for a generous 6-month duration. She spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the Techno Common 30 series.
Building on Techno's design philosophy for the Common range, the Common 30 series empowers modern users to take a leading role in life through professional level imaging and stylish design. Data Devices Home Senior Manager at MTN Ghana, Gloria Frimpong, said MTN is committed to making Africa a leader in technology.
Let me first of all congratulate Techno for this beautiful launch and introducing as part of their range of devices this innovative device known as the Common 30 series. Our partnership with Techno goes way back, and it's in line with our belief that everybody deserves the benefits of a modern connected life. Techno provides a wide range of devices at affordable prices. And to penetrate into the market with regards to smartphones and help increase smartphone usage, we need to break the affordability barrier. And Techno really provides that.
Branch manager for the northern sector of Techno Ghana, Solomon Gandhi, said Techno would deepen its relations with MTN Ghana.
Techno, we think about our consumers, so we try to give them world-class products, premium products at affordable prices. And we are doing it again with a Common 30. So currently we are launching the Techno Common 30, and even as we have launched it, any Techno accredited shop that you go, you find some there.
The Common 30 series comes in a wide range of appealing colors, including Alps Snowy Silver, Emerald Lake Green, and Sahara Sand Brown.
Young engineers can make a substantial impact on the country's development and sustainability goals if they are exposed to practical experience after their engineering education. Industry experts are advocating the enforcement of real-life experiences and coaching of students to diverse practical solutions to confronting community problems. Here is a report by Clinton Yeboah.
The ideal fundamentals of engineering are embedded in problem solving and innovation. This underscores identifying societal problems and designing relevant solutions to improve lives in struggling communities. Engineers in Ghana are being encouraged to commit to addressing local challenges by leveraging their education to create location-specific solutions. Director, Land Management at Ghana Great Company, Engineer Bismarck Anane, has emphasized the need for country-specific relevant solutions. He says important solutions from abroad may not be suitable for Ghanaian problems.
Innovation means we identify societal problems and come up with solutions that will make life better. So we are very happy to identify with Engineers Without Borders because they go to remote areas, communities in Ghana, identify problems, and through the education they've had or they are having in school are able to come up with solution, however simple. And mind you, solutions are location specific, so you cannot import a solution from the United States or elsewhere. Ghanaian problem, it may not be suitable because it is not one fit all. It is location or country specific, and they are doing what will be needed for our folks to be able to get solutions that are relevant for their local problems. And that is exactly what we are here to do, to enrich the content of the curriculum so that in studying, their focus is how they can contribute to solving problems in society, and by doing so they become employable in industries, or for those of them who want to take up entrepreneurial endeavors.
Engineer Bismarck Anane made these comments at a career fair for engineering students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. The career fair aims to provide mentorship and curriculum enrichment with a focus on developing solutions and enhancing employability among students. Principal Electrical Engineer at the Electricity Company of Ghana, Engineer Mrs. Aberta Amankwa, added that adequate focus should be channeled to the development of women in engineering.
Out there, the very few women who are in engineering are doing so well. They are excelling. It's quite challenging, but we are able to go through it. When they face certain frustrations, failures, and difficulties, it's normal because we didn't have it easy. We all went through it. But as we go through it, we pick lessons and experiences, and it is these lessons and experiences that have propelled us to where we are now. And then I took them through certain skills that are needed for them to excel in the industry, to stand up, to be intentional about how they want to be known.
Reporting for JoyNews, my name is Clinton Yabwa.
That's it for business. I am Pius Kojobaka. More business at 1 p.m. with Darokwao.
Your last cash left for the month, you decide to get a chicken bucket for the family. So you hop in your car and pay for the petrol to get to the drive-thru. Then you pay for the food. But 20 minutes later, that precious bucket of chicken is now a bucket of bones. Or you pay once right on your phone with the MyGoTV app to keep the whole family smiling for an entire month. For unbeatable value for money entertainment, oh, I love this. There's only one way to go. GoTV. Love it.
Time now to bring you sports on JoyNews today with me, Muftau Nabila Abla. Ghana's Abeku Jackson is one of the few athletes that got a wild card and could be qualifying to participate on the Olympic Games in Paris later this year. My colleague Haruna Mubarak has been going through the story of how he inspired young swimmers to begin to get themselves involved in swimming. Following that success, he chalked in the African Games 2023. There's more in this report.
A golden moment for Abeku Jackson. At this year's African Games, he not only defies the odds, but also shatters a long-standing jinx, emerging as the first Ghanaian swimmer to seize a medal at this prestigious event.
Tops, it's a really rushing finish to the end. What is it going to be? Look at Abeku Jackson in lane 5. Lane 4 is going strongly as well. That's Kalafala Ali of Egypt. He's going really strongly. In the end, it's Kalafala who's going to take it. And there it is. It's a silver medal for Ghana. 24-3. And the Ghanaians yet again.
Abeku's stellar performance, clinching silver and bronze in the 50 and 100 meters butterfly events, not only captivated audiences, but also ignited a spark of inspiration. 12-year-old Lord Mana Ashley is part of a swimming brotherhood that has been making waves in Ghana over the last few years. Their father is Sergeant Mana David.
I'm very happy for Abeku Jackson, and he has done really well for the country, for himself, for the swimming fraternity, and the family as well. We thank God for him. I know Abeku Jackson from 2017. He trained here at the Birmingham Sports Complex, and in fact, from his demeanor, you will see that Abeku Jackson is hungry for success. And I'm not surprised Abeku won these medals. And this will inspire the young ones coming up. It will inspire them a lot, because they will also know that when we train like Abeku Jackson, we will hit at the top level of swimming. We'll also win medals for our country. It all boils on training, discipline, and hard work.
Abeku's success extends beyond the confines of local pools, throwing a spotlight upon Ghana on the global stage.
Several places, different competitions, different countries. I mean, he's phenomenal. People hear Abeku and they're like, hey, that boy. You see, with swimming, you need height. Even without the height, he's still doing exploits. He's still doing well, yes. He's still doing well. Yeah. So you can never tell what happens though, but he made us proud of the two that he won.
With Ghanaians' gaze fixed upon him, Abeku stands on the brink of his ultimate test, the Olympic Games. A daunting challenge lies ahead as he strives to secure qualification for the pinnacle of athletic achievement, slated for August.
For me, this is always a stepping stone. I mean, it's good to have competitions before the main Olympics. It's good to have African Games, World Championship. I recently just came back from World Championship. Before World Championship, I had a different competition. It's been back-to-back competitions, and it's the way forward. It's always to drop my time. It's always to get into my personal best, drop my time, move forward, qualify for the Olympics, and make my nation proud. The next step for me is to go back to training, see what went wrong, be it medal, 2 medals, 3 medals. There's always something, there's always room for improvement. So I'm going to go back, improve, work on everything I can and give my best.
He has the chances to qualify. He just has to push himself a little bit more. And I believe here in Ghana, nobody during these games had a qualifier. qualified, nobody. And you'll be wondering why. I mean, we don't know why, but we are hoping that during this European Championship tour, he might bring us a qualifier.
As Abeko eyes global acclaim, his trailblazing success ignites the dreams of aspiring Ghanaian swimmers, proving that with determination and passion, barriers are meant to be broken. Haruna Mubarak for Joy Sports.
And that's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. We appreciate your time.
There had been some attack around.
If this is Connect Africa with me, Blessed Sugan, welcome to our program. We have updates on the elections taking place in Sierra Leone.
There had been some attack around the opposition's office, and this was because they prematurely announced results, which both parties technically did.
And what is the cost of political unrest in the West Africa sub-region?
The preponderance of illicit activities resulting from easy access to small arms is causing a lot of havoc across the region.
5 countries. How are you going to work with them?
It is one of the few cases where we have the countries themselves agreeing to do it and calling on ECOWAS to act on their behalf.
There is a DNA testing, the process of DNA of 17 students who were banned beyond recognition. So at the moment, there is some uncertainty. Some of the parents think, hey, is my kid part of those that were banned beyond recognition, the 17?
Every human being has the right to a livable world. And to secure that livable world, all the rich nations and all the international financial organizations must transform the standard of doing business.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline Ansuma Yobwa. Following a first on tour's unsuccessful singing marathon and Shafila's failed cooking marathon, Ghanaian nurse and makeup artist Stella Gomez finds himself in similar company as the third individual to have his Guinness World Record attempt denied. His goal was ambitious to break the record for the most lipstick applications by an individual, yet, despite his best efforts, Stella's attempt has been met with rejection by the Guinness World Record as a result of failure to adhere to guidelines.
Nurse and makeup artist Stella Gomez didn't just aim for the stars, he painted them on the lips. Surpassing his target of 7 models, he boldly doubled the existing record set by Chinese artist Li Jiaqi in 2018. However, despite his meticulous strokes and unwavering commitment, the dream of etching his name in history faced a sudden twist. In an email, Guinness World Records delivered the sobering news. Stella's attempts had fallen short of the stringent guidelines. The lipstick strokes, they said, lacked uniformity and veered beyond the boundaries of perfection. In the face of adversity, Stella remains resolute.
A few days ago, I received my results from Guinness World Record. It wasn't what I was expecting. It was quite surprising because I followed all the rules. But with the email they sent to me, it indicated that I didn't apply the lipstick fully on the lips of my models. Yeah, they said I didn't apply the lipstick fully on the lips of my models. And also the models were not supposed to blend with their own lips. So meaning the way I apply it on the lip, that's how it's supposed to be. No movement of the lip, nothing.
With a lot of unsuccessful attempts, what is the way forward for Della?
I've discussed with my models and we'll be taking the attempt again. In fact, the day I received the email, that was last week, Tuesday, I applied again. Yes. So currently we are waiting for the approval. Then we set a date. But this time around, we'll be doing it without any paparazzi. We want to use our iPhones to record what we do and we'll send it to them. We are doing the attempt again.
Ghana finds itself on the precipice of record-breaking glory, awaiting its moment to shine. The big question resonates: which of these record-breaking challenges would actually be successful? For Joy News, I am Jacqueline Ansama Yeboah.
Away from that story, now the sudden cancellation of the highly anticipated Easter dance party with Mr. Drew events stirred controversy and legal repercussions as organizers of the event have pursued legal actions against headlining artist Mr. Drew.
Mr. Drew, the scheduled performer for an Easter Monday celebration this year, withdrew from the event without providing any explanation or justification. The organizers had to cancel the show due to the unexpected decision by Mr. Drew, disappointing fans who had bought tickets for the show.
What's up, my people? It's your boy, Mr. Drew, and on the 1st of April, I'm going to be performing live at the Easter dance party inside Jamrock Bar and Event Center at Timpoku. So I want to see you there 8 p.m. sharp. Tickets are just 50 Ghana cedis, so get your tickets now, cause me back.
However, Mr. Drew's failure to honor his commitment to perform prompted organizers to seek clarification from the artist and his team. Despite receiving 50% of his performance fee in advance and confirming his participation in the event, Mr. Drew and his entourage were reportedly found asleep at their hotel when attempts were made to contact them for their scheduled performance. In response to the breach of contract, David Ofosujedu, who is part of the management at Jamrock Bar and Event Center where the event was scheduled to take place, has revealed that they have officially pursued legal action against Mr. Drew and his team to recover the expenses incurred in organizing the event.
We actually booked Mr. Drew for an event on the 1st of April during the Easter activities, and then due to some one or two reasons he couldn't show up to perform. So this is to confirm, this is a video to confirm that there's a lawsuit against him. And then
Now all is set for the season 5 premiere of the all-male lifestyle show on Joy Prime, the BMPS show. The show features men representing the bald, muscled, pot-bellied and skinny categories of the gender. Here is what to expect on the first episode, which will be aired tomorrow, Thursday, April 18th at 9 p.m. on Joy Prime.
I am pot-bellied, they say. Possible is skinny.
You say?
Of course, we have my brother Molded Rock, Oliver, also representing the muscled. And then Nanye is here with us, representing the bald. And we are here to do justice to every single topic that we push up on the screens week after week. Today, what we're discussing is very simple. What do men consider before popping the big question? And that big question is, lady, will you marry me?
I look out for two things.
Okay.
Hey. Just two things.
Just. And I know one of them.
Which is?
Because I'm your boy.
You're my boy.
Peace of mind.
Hey.
Peace of mind. That's what he looks out for.
What is he talking about?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. And the woman will they understand me.
We're going to give you our boys' code of the day. And also, one of the things is that we've moved BMPS from Friday to Thursdays at 9 p.m. And now it's no more 30 minutes. It's a 1 whole hour. We also want to say a big thank you to Johnny Walker. Keep walking.
It's a wrap for the showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah.
And thanks for bringing us showbiz, Lady in Black. That's it for the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories to enjoy the rest of our programs.
September 2023, the management of the VRA opened the spillways of the Akosombo Dam. Millions of gallons of water rushed out, destroying everything on its path. Then the blame game began.
From VRA all the way to the very top, they owe us explanations.
The forecast gave the indication that we are not supposed to expect too much water into the reservoir. But in August, the situation changed.
Our forecast did not change.
After the floods, 36,000 people remain displaced, reeling under the heavy weight of neglect.
Some of the ladies, they are in their menses, and how they will bath, change themselves, nothing. They can't do anything, so maybe they'll be in one part. As I'm talking to you now, me myself, I'm also a victim.
After the floods, JoyNews returns to speak to the affected people to understand their pain and to understand why an engineering decision should cause such havoc.
I'm very much annoyed with VRA, and we are not hearing anything from them.
They have to come to our aid and support us and give us compensation.
After the floods, a JoyNews hotline documentary coming soon.
In 75 years of excellence in journalism with the Ghana Journalists Association's grand anniversary launch. Join us on 17th April at 12:30 p.m. at the prestigious Labadi Beach Hotel as we honor 3/4 of a century of excellence in journalism. Be inspired by our esteemed keynote speaker, Sir Sam Jonah, as he reflects on the evolution of journalism and the path to a brighter future. Chair, Nana Kwesi Jan Apenteng, former chairman of the National Media Commission. Special guests, Honorable Kojo Opon Nkrumah, Minister of Works and Housing, Caretaker Minister for Information, and Mr. Albert Kwabena Jumfor, President, Ghana Journalists Association. Brought to you by the Ghana Journalists Association, where excellence in journalism shines for 75 years and beyond. Sponsored by Labadi Beach Hotel and powered by Globe Productions.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, efforts underway to salvage crude oil and avert spillage after oil tanker splits. We'll speak to the National Petroleum Authority. Also coming up, IMF projects robust economic recovery for Ghana from next year with almost 5% good rate a new economic outlook report. And also coming up, almost about 170 countries support GRA over move to tax foreign incomes of resident Ghanaians. We hear from the GRA, which clarifies that the policy is not a new tax. And that's the headlines. We've got details coming up. Don't go anywhere. Well, first up, the IMF is projecting that Ghana's economy should rebound strongly next year. The fund is therefore projecting a 4.4% end-of-year growth for the country. George Jaffe has more on this from Washington, D.C. in the U.S.
Projection was captured in the latest IMF World Economic Outlook report released on the sidelines of the World Bank IMF annual spring meetings in Washington, D.C., USA. The projection about Ghana's economic growth for next year is higher than government's own growth forecast for 2025 of 3.3%, and even the World Bank, which is looking at about 3% growth rate for the country. It is not clear for now what might have influenced this robust growth about Ghana's economy and what some might describe as a favorable economic outlook for the country. For some, they want to link it to the IMF program, which had fought the fund to revise its growth outlook for the country on 2 occasions. Some industry experts say it may be clear that the 2 institutions are upbeat about Ghana's economic recovery going forward. However, the IMF has maintained that there still remains some threats. One can talk about maintaining that fiscal discipline in an election year and checking that budget overruns.
Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority has signed an information sharing agreement with 170 countries across the globe to support the move to tax foreign income of resident Ghanaians. According to the GRA, this is an existing policy which has been passed, which was passed in 2016, but lack of adequate data delayed its implementation. Speaking to clarify the law, the GRA also dismissed claims that this is a new tax to replace the VAT on electricity. Here's Chief Revenue Officer Free Zones at the Domestic Tax Division, Dominic Adamno-Nate.
This is not a new tax. It has been in the laws since 2016. Section 3, Section 111, and Section 103. Anyone who is in Ghana who earns income outside Ghana, who is a resident person and earns income outside Ghana, is supposed to consolidate all incomes, whether earned in Ghana or outside and then subject that to tax. And this is not a new tax, it's in the Act already. We are just now enforcing that provisions in the Act.
So if it's a law that has been passed since 2016, why are we now implementing it or enforcing it?
There is a process. We have signed compact with other countries. Now they have provided us with the information. So we had enough information to kickstart. We don't start anything when you don't have the basis of getting information on people's income outside. So now that we have signed agreement with about 170 countries where we exchange information, now we have information enough to believe that we can drive that aspect of the law and implement it successfully.
So is it just about paying taxes, as in paying money, or an exchange of information? Like you said, you've signed a pact with 170 countries. What is it about? Is it just about paying money, or what exactly is it?
It is not just about paying money. The Act is clear that anyone who earns income, whether small, big, or whatever it is, you have to pay tax on it. And so if we have, for some time, we have left that aspect of the law hanging. Now we said we are implementing the law. So it is nothing new. We are just bringing in all the people who are covered under the tax law to do what the law requires of them. And that is exactly so.
Is it replacing the VAT on electricity?
It has nothing to do with VAT at all. This has nothing to do with VAT on electricity. It is just provisions in the Act that we have not been implementing, and now we are ready to implement it, and that's all. It has nothing to do with any other tax. It is income, either income from investment or income from business that is taking place outside the shores of Ghana. We just consolidate with your income here, and then we tax it. And note, we are not just taxing that income that bring all the monies there and we are taxing it. You might have paid some taxes on those incomes outside. You just bring the certificate that shows that you have paid tax on that. And so we compute if there is still some taxes that have to be paid, then you pay. If there is no tax to be paid on that, you are free. There's nothing to force you to pay taxes on incomes that you have already paid taxes on. No, it's not like that.
Now, meantime, the Ghana Revenue Authority has educated some stakeholders on the tax amendment laws, which waived penalty payments on non-tax compliant individuals who volunteered their tax information. The move is expected to boost voluntary payments and support revenue mobilization. The authority has been engaging stakeholders in Accra as part of activities to mark the Tax and Good Governance Month. The month of April every year is declared by the Ghana Revenue Authority as Good Governance Month to improve on tax collection. Addressing some stakeholders as part of activities slated for the month, the GRA indicated its commitment to the amended Revenue Administration Law, which gives waivers to individuals who disclose their tax information to the authority and make payments. Assistant Commissioner of Audit at the Large Tax Office, Dr. Martin Kobil Yamborija, explains to Joy Business.
As a means to encourage people to voluntarily comply, we amended the Section 74 of the Revenue Administration Act that if, as a taxpayer, you have discovered that information that you have earlier on provided to the Ghana Revenue Authority is not accurate, or information that you should have provided, you have not provided, and then you, on your own volition, decide to come and then disclose that information to the Commissioner General, then the benefit is that any penalties that could have been imposed on you, either monetary or imprisonment, you are given a waiver of that. So we want to encourage people, and this is something that is not just like a one-off amnesty. It is something that we have incorporated into the law that at any time, a taxpayer can always take advantage of that.
Dr. Yamborija justified the observance of the month of April as Tax and Good Governance Month since it is the beginning of a new quarter of the year.
They are required to file their annual income tax return not later than the end of April. And because we want them to file their returns, the month of April is normally set aside to sensitize taxpayers and then encourage them and also educate them on how to file their income tax returns and also pay any tax thereon. So if you ask me what is the objective, our objective is to create awareness and also remind our client, that's the taxpayers, that they have an obligation to to file their tax returns.
The Commissioner General and other officers of the authority will be carrying out educational programs and outdoor activities across the country to enhance tax collection. All right, you're watching The Marketplace. Now, the World Cybercrime Index, which identifies the globe's key cybercrime hotspots, has 3 African countries in the list of top 20, including Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa. The data was gathered through a survey of 92 leading cybercrime experts from around the world who are involved in cybercrime intelligence gathering and investigations. The experts identified 5 key categories, including technical products or services, attacks and extortion, data or identity theft, scams, cashing out or money laundering. And join us for Let's Talk Tech on this matter and others is lead for Eyes of Africa, Henry Kobler. Good afternoon to you, Henry. Any surprises there?
Good afternoon, Daryl. So no surprises. These are what we've actually been battling with if you're looking at the index when cybersecurity units, definitely from their list of issues that they've actually been reported most of the times. And so again, if you're looking at Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa, it's always been on the roll. I mean, Ghana had been on the block on PayPal's list for a very long time based on some of these occurrences that is happening in the cyberspace. And so much more, I mean, when it comes down to scams, I think it's a very, very open secret in Ghana. I mean, quite a number of people are actually being targeted. We've had Hajia for real being pushed up into the U.S. courts, I mean, battling with issues of such kind. Money laundering is actually coming up strongly. Credit card fraud, I mean, money mules, illicit virtual cash, currency platforms are all popping up again. And again, you'd realize that we're having some of these coming through because we're having quite a number of Nigerians coming to Ghana. Again, because you're having most of the IPs being flagged, and so Ghana seems to be on the open slightly. And so being on the 13th position and Nigeria being on the 5th position, you can actually understand the influx which is coming in. South Africa, I think that it's only because they have some quite good systems, but again, quite a number of people are always going through with money laundering issues. For me, technical products which are coming in terms of malware coding and compromising of systems, I think that we're also coming up strongly in that regard, where there have been quite a number of reports on breaking into systems, which is coming in. And again, some of them coming in terms of
Right, appears Henry Kobler is frozen there. We'll try and get him back on to continue with the discussion there. Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa among the top 20 when it comes to cybercrime hotspots. Well, the Ghana cedi returned to its loss trajectory last week as it has depreciated by 9.65% to the dollar since the beginning of the year. This is despite the Bank of Ghana's intervention. The central bank auctioned $20 million to the bulk oil distribution companies at a forward rate of 13 cedis 23 pesos to a dollar. Here's more.
The local currency shed 0.19% in value to the American greenback last week. It also weakened 0.90% to the pound, but closed with a 0.1% gain against the euro. Ghana officials of the International Monetary Fund on Sunday reached a staff-level agreement on the second review of the $3 billion extended credit facility. Analysts see the move as a positive step towards receiving the planned $360 million funding. However, the board approval and the fund disbursement depend on the country reaching an agreement on a memorandum of understanding consistent with the $5.4 billion official creditor restructuring agreement reached in January 2024. The country could not also reach a debt restructuring agreement with 2 of its international bondholder groups. Analysts believe while the IMF board approval is not contingent on the debt rework, the current development may lead to renewed market uncertainty, prompting investors to lean towards safe haven assets. As a result, the Ghana cedi may lose grounds this week.
Okay, I want to bring you a top story this afternoon. The National Petroleum Authority, Ghana Maritime Authority, Customs, National Security, Defense, Intelligence are among state institutions and security agencies supervising the salvaging of crude oil of a split vessel. Although information about the incident is scanty, Joy Business has learned that the oil tanker carrying crude oil split upon reaching Old Ningo in the Ningo Prampram district last Friday. At the site, a number of tankers, as you would see in your shots, lined up waiting in turns to transport the crude oil. Joining me on phone is Communications Manager at the National Petroleum Authority, Abdul Kudus Mohammed, as we try to dig up more information about the incident and the impact as the committee fears a possible spillage. Thank you so much for joining us on the marketplace. What information are you gathering about what caused the vessel to split, resulting in this exercise to salvage crude oil from the split vessel?
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your viewers. The information I have does not speak directly to the reason for the problem that the ship developed. It says that we had an information, or call it a request, for an emergency evacuation of the crude oil in that vessel because of the mechanical fault that it generated, and that would not allow it to reach its intended place for berthing and discharging. And so the approval was granted to their request, and the relevant organizations that play role in this particular matter of fuel importation and discharge were all invited and played various roles in having to have the product evacuated. So it was the crude oil meant for one of the refineries in Accra, and so after the permission was granted, diaries were arranged by the refinery to have the fuel be evacuated to the refinery. That is exactly what was done.
We understand, as well you've been pointing out, the attempts to salvage crude oil from the split vessel. How is that exercise ongoing?
Okay, so like I explained, because of its inability to get to where it is supposed to get to so that the appropriate discharging facilities could be used, there was a request for an emergency approval to be granted for it to have the product evacuated. And so at the place that it developed the mechanical fault, just around the Prampram area, they needed to now use DRVs to be able to cut the product in the vessel to the intended location, that is around Spintex by Aquaba Refinery. And so basically that was that they needed the approval. The approval was granted. The evacuation was actually being done. And that was to salvage the product from actually going waste.
Yeah, my question was how successful that has been.
Oh, okay. So I'm currently even speaking to you from Borga, where we're having an engagement. But my briefing actually indicated that it started, but I did not get whether it's concluded. But there hasn't been any information to me about anything untoward or something that could disturb the marine life around where the ship actually developed the mechanical fault.
Yeah, of course, the immediate concern has to be the safety and impact on residents in that community because of fears of a possible spillage. What assurances can you give in that regard? You also bring up the issue of marine life.
Absolutely. So my information is that everything that needed to be put in place to ensure that safety was guaranteed and the life and livelihood of people around is equally guaranteed were put in place. And that is where I took pain to say that all agencies that needed to play a role in that particular exercise were actually involved. And that was to really ensure that safety mechanisms are put in place so that the evacuation is done and done successfully without compromising lives and properties around the place.
Right. Just before you go out, I was just curious about this, so I just tried to Google how often we see this happen in Ghana. I think the last incident was in 2018. How is that managed? Do you know?
Oh, well, you see, The appropriateness or otherwise of a ship is not within my capacity to actually talk about, because I don't know that. All we know about is the registration of the vessel normally is given before the license is actually granted, so that you go and bring the product. So if there's something about the mechanical propriety of the vessel, I'm unable to talk about it because I do not have that capacity.
Oh, that's fair. Abdul Kudus Mohammed, Communications Manager, National Petroleum Authority, thank you so much for this update. You're watching The Marketplace. I want to head back to our conversation with Henry Kobler on the news that Ghana is amongst countries that were in the top 20 hotspots when it comes to cybercrime. We are going to continue that conversation with Henry because he's joined me on Zoom. So Henry, we're talking about the lapses in the system that causes us to be a hotspot. How can we, going forward, manage our cybersecurity issues, ensure that we do not become a hotbed for cyber crimes?
We have the agency that is set up to sort of take care of everything when it comes down to cybersecurity. I've had lots of interactions with them, and I think that they're sort of working very well to put things in place. I think that it's more about being able to have the laws grip up people that are caught up in this, generally getting to make sure that it comes out strongly. I know the Bank of Ghana is sort of also putting in a lot of effort in curbing some criminal crimes when it comes down to financial crimes online. And I think that it's basically about how the policies and then the law basically takes course when most people are found wanting. Okay,
I want us to turn to another story we're looking at in terms of tech trends. So we all love graphic. The Graphic Communications Group is trying to re-strategize so as to recapitalize its operations. I want us to start a conversation about the newspaper business in the age of digitalization. What's the future?
Generally, it depends on how a company basically comes in as strong as they can to bring some level of innovation into what they're sort of putting out there. I've seen quite a number of innovation in terms of QR codes being incorporated into newspapers. I'd also seen them push up a digitalization agenda where they had their mobile application being pushed out there. I don't know what's the numbers that comes in terms of the downloads and how many people are buying the newspapers online and all of that. But I think that there should be some more level of innovation coming in place to be able to push what is normally put in as newspaper turned up into being more innovative and technically available for people to be able to use. I'm looking at how they can go from pushing very sensitive and limited access information and being able to sell that on their digital platforms, such as data, analytics, and all of those things. If those are coming strongly on their mobile application, I'm thinking that they're going to make some level of headways and also make sure that at least you're having these speakers digitally available for people. And the payment systems that sort of work on these platforms are very easy to make payments wherever you are in the world.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what innovation would be. I mean, if you're in this kind of a business.
Generally, I would be selling very limited data, making sure that if there's some level of statistics that's available, research works that are available, selling such works on these platforms should be making some level of money. I've seen how Bloomberg and most of the international media basically will have to pay just to read some particular news items, which is having quite a number of data research pushed in. And so that's one part of it. Again, being able to sell the newspaper digitally is something I've already seen them do, but I'm looking at how they're promoting it. There needs to be that intentional promotion. I've seen how ECG had to put in a lot of promotion and marketing into their Power App. I'm looking at the same thing for graphics. If they could do a very long push with that in terms of pushing that to us, I think that they're going to make some good money from it.
All right, let's turn to the smartphone market. Some news from there as well. And Samsung regaining the top spot, 20.8% market share in the first quarter of this year. Sorry, iPhone users.
I've loved Samsung from days, only because of some reasons. It's quite easy to have a lot of mobile applications hit on Samsung, and the innovations are quite easy. People are able to develop applications and do their testing on the go, and so it makes it quite easy for innovation to start with. And so people that would generally want to have some level of innovation from the developer side, be able to just jump on Android and run. In terms of market buy prices, I think that Samsung has quite a number of products, which makes it quite easy for people to jump on Samsung and buy based on their budget rates. And so you really don't have to struggle to just have the high-end phones from Samsung. Generally, if you're looking at this year, they've done quite a good one. They've actually had like quite a number of shipments, up to like 7.8%, which is amounting to almost about 280 million units. So just in January and March, which is a lot when it comes down to that, where they actually getting some 20% in market share. And then Samsung, Apple is actually dropping to like 17.3%, which is a shame a bit. Generally, you're seeing Xiaomi also pick up.
What's happening with Apple though? 1 minute.
Generally, I think that it's more about the US-UK, US-China war. Generally, you're having Chinese government pushing that a lot of iPhones are actually not being used by Chinese employers. Same as in the US, you're having Chinese phones struggling to make the market there. And so that disparity comes in as large for them. But you realize that Samsung is always just on the level to just be everywhere. And I think that also because the Samsung Galaxy 24 basically comes in with a lot of AI. I mean, a lot of people are starting to enjoy the AI trend there, so they would always jump on a platform that has more about to offer when it comes out to AI.
All right. Henry Kobler, I don't know, I'm tempted to call you Michael. Henry Kobler, lead Eyes of Africa, thank you so much. Great to see you. Appreciate it. And that's the marketplace. Thanks for watching, everyone. There is more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. You can get the day's stories from over there. In 2 minutes, I'll be on radio on the masterclass. We'll be talking rebranding, or personal branding rather, in the digital age. Make a date if you can. Joy 99.7 FM. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time tomorrow.
In 75 years of excellence in journalism with the Ghana Journalists Association's grand anniversary launch. Join us on 17th April at 12:30 p.m. at the prestigious Labadi Beach Hotel as we honor 3/4 of a century of excellence in journalism. Be inspired by our esteemed keynote speaker, Sir Sam Jonah, as he reflects on the evolution of journalism and the path to a brighter future. Chair, Nana Kwesi Jan Apenteng, former chairman of the National Media Commission. Special guests, Honorable Kojo Nkrumah, Minister of Works and Housing, Caretaker Minister for Information, and Mr. Albert Kwabena Jumfor, President, Ghana Journalists Association. Brought to you by the Ghana Journalists Association, where excellence in journalism shines for 75 years and beyond. Sponsored by Labadi Beach Hotel and powered by Globe Productions.
the race for the Jubilee House is beginning, Ghana is at a crossroads. It's time again for the people to choose, and the world is watching. We will do this because in a nation where every vote counts, where every voice matters, there's one name you can trust for your election coverage. JoyNews, your election headquarters. A team of seasoned journalists will bring you up-to-the-minute updates, unbiased analysis, and stories behind the headlines. The election headquarters for an informed electorate. JoyNews, independent, fearless, credible.